Hey, peace and love, family. This is Brother Garfield, of course, on the Dagger Squad, and I have today a special guest, Mr. Vocab Malone. Man, what type of name is Vocab Malone, man? When I told my people I'm interviewing, they're like, "What is a Vocab Malone?" Can you elaborate on that name before we go into the interview?
I started trying to rap in 4th grade, basically, and everybody had a name. And I went through 20 different names like everybody else. Finally, Vocab just stuck. But I knew Vocab was too common. It would get taken. So what I did is I combined Mal 1 as a last name, because Mal 1 used to be my graph writing name. So Mal 1, you know, like people write Mal 1 or KRS1. So anyways, it became Vocab Malone from Mal 1. So it's a combination of old rap name and my graph writing name.
All right, cool. Let me ask you this. What is your cultural what is your cultural background? Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from the Midwest. So I grew up on the south side of Columbus by and large. That's where I first encountered hip hop. That's where I first encountered lots of things in life, including the Hebrew Israelites. And I moved out to Phoenix in '99, and I've been in Arizona ever since '99. You know, Southwest is different than the Midwest, but I still visit and all that. I might even be moving back, but right now I've been in Phoenix for the past, 18 or whatever years.
All right. Let me ask you this. Your connection to the Hebrew Israelites is kind of like, hold on, let me turn this down now. I don't know why I got this on anyway. With your own personal belief system, how did that start for you as far as what your belief system is right now?
So I'm a Protestant. I'm a Christian. I used to be okay with the word evangelical, but more and more these days the word evangelical has these negative political connotations that I'm not really trying to adopt into what I'm talking about, because I'm not talking politics, I'm talking theology. So Orthodox with a small o, meaning not Greek Orthodox, but Orthodox as in classic Christian doctrine. I'm Reformed, so the theology that broke away from the Roman Catholic Church to try to reform what was going on at the time. And even more specifically, I'm neo-Calvinistic, or simply Calvinistic of a sort, meaning I have a strong view of the sovereignty of God. Those are some of the key aspects in my theology. And if I could elaborate further if you want, Garfield, it's up to you.
All right, cool. Before I even get into my questions, I don't call it Calvinism, just to let you know, because I think that was based on the history. What I learned in school is that it was kind of like a derogatory thing. And John Calvin didn't even like that, from what I read. I don't know if that's true, the true history, but from what I read, he didn't like the fact that it was based off of him, because actually it was a collective effort, a different mind that basically came up with that. Now, I'm going to get back to that in a minute. Let's leave that alone for a minute. But for the reference, for people who don't understand, I might use the word Calvinism to refer to what John Calvin and his fellow dudes at that time period pulled together and came up with a certain doctrine, or not doctrine, I should say, an understanding of what they thought should come out of the scripture and be taught. All right. All right. Let me go to my first question here, because I had some questions written down. Some nice questions. We're not gonna get too deep. How long have you been a believer in your system that you follow today?
So I was raised in a more Wesleyan holiness Pentecostal type of environment for the most part. Nothing too crazy, but I saw some crazy stuff. And I even went to a Pentecostal Bible college right after I finished my junior college stuff and all that at Columbus State. But at the Pentecostal Bible College, fortunately, they taught basic hermeneutics. And the funny thing is, as I learned hermeneutics, how to interpret the text from the Pentecostal Bible College, I left less of a Pentecostal than when I came in, because I didn't think basic hermeneutical principles supported Pentecostalism as well as I had thought. But then it was a journey into what sometimes called Calvinism or Reformed theology, because I was raised to think of that as a dirty word, basically. Stay away from those folks. And all my experience with anybody who would call themselves a Calvinist have been decidedly negative. But I just kept on reading scripture, essentially. And it's kind of like I was dragged into the theology kicking and screaming. Now, everybody associated with doesn't agree on all my views about that, but we agree on the big things as Protestants, right? And so I'm just being specific because I don't like to hide behind things. And sometimes labels are helpful, sometimes they're not, but they serve a purpose because otherwise we don't know what we're talking about. We have to start from ground zero. So a label at least gets the conversation rolling about where a person is theologically.
Okay. Let me ask you this. This is not one of the questions I had, but based on what you just said, do you and James White follow the same doctrine?
We're close. Not identical 100%. And some of our views on what you might call social issues and some of the practical outworkings would be different because our life experiences are different. But we're close in a lot of ways. He's Reformed. He's Baptistic, meaning he doesn't believe in baptizing infants. That's a characteristic of a Baptistic understanding of baptism. You don't believe in paedo-baptism. You know, only believing people should be baptized willingly, not children, for example.
Hold on a second. You know what? We got to start the show over, brother.
Sure.
My bad. We got to start the show all the way over. I made a major error. I put it on my personal channel instead of Dagger Squad.
That's all right. That's a promo. That's a promo.
let me set it up in the meantime. All right, and yeah, my bad, man. I just realized it because I say only 4 people watching. I'm like, something's wrong here. let me set this up. Let me set this up properly. Under my channel.
Here, I'll start promoting it then too.
All right, cool. Hold on 1 second. Let me get this out the way. I'm like, why nobody ain't watching this?
Is it going to be on Dagger Squad or
Dagger Squad YouTube channel?
Okay.
All right. So let me come out of this. I'm gonna send a link back to the Facebook. All right. Let me get out of this. My apologies, family who's watching. My apologies, Vocab.